Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Merry Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to all of you at home. This is CBS 21 Next, the Christmas edition here. I'm Maxine Rose. Tonight, we are talking about weather. We're talking about some major weather storm kind of situation coming up in the next 24-ish hours. We're going to bring in Ed Russo, our meteorologist, to talk a little bit more about what we can kind of expect here. So, Ed, what are we seeing? What's developing here?
Yeah, so the big thing with this is, the good news is it's going to hold off until after Christmas Day. So we're talking about Friday. Friday is kind of the problematic day with this. And this, unfortunately, it's not an all snow event. So we have something called ice that's going to be caused by freezing rain, which is really the worst kind of winter precipitation because with freezing rain, you don't have any traction whatsoever. Now we're going to start off with some snow. I believe that's going to be very brief. We're going to quickly change over to sleet, and then we're going to change over to freezing rain. So it all starts Friday afternoon. We start with the snow, and then we get this little area, this little small area of warm air that moves in about 5,000 to 10,000 feet aloft, which causes the snow to melt, and then it refreezes by the time it hits the surface. So that falls in the form of sleet. Now that warm layer is going to continue to get thicker and thicker through the evening. So a bigger column of the atmosphere is going to be above freezing while the surface remains below. So what happens there is you get snow, it falls, it melts into rain, and that rain falls into the sub-freezing air at the surface and refreezes on contact. So anything the rain falls on, it refreezes, and that's what creates the very treacherous travel. So ice, you have no traction, at least in snow and sleet, you have a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
But so we're going to get that probably a coating to 2 inches of snow and sleet, and then we're going to get the freezing rain on top. So
Right.
It is better than just starting out with freezing rain because that would just turn the whole road surface into a sheet of ice very quickly.
Yeah.
The snow and sleet will alleviate that somewhat because you're just going to get that icy crust on top. So it's not going to be as slick, but still looking at some pretty treacherous travel Friday evening into the overnight hours into Saturday morning. So we'll show you the next graphic. This is showing Friday afternoon. You see the blue, that's snow, and the pink, that's sleet. All right.
Yeah.
The purple actually represents sleet and freezing rain. Most of this event is going to be sleet, and sleet, you'll be able to hear it pit pattering on your roof, on your car windshield. And it'll probably accumulate a ½ inch to maybe even an inch. That's a lot of sleet. And then during the last third of the event, so probably 7, 8 o'clock Friday evening through Saturday morning, we're looking at light freezing rain. So it's just going to be this light, even moderate accumulation of ice on all surfaces. And that's really what creates really, really slick conditions out there.
Right. So that the bad thing, right, is that we're not going to be having a white Christmas. People are not necessarily going to be waking up tomorrow morning and seeing that. The good thing is people will likely, if you're going and you're visiting friends and family, you are hopefully by that point off the roads and out of the, area, hopefully, or safe at home because later Friday night, that all can be a little tricky.
I'm glad you brought up this question, but like if you're just doing day traveling tomorrow where you leave for Christmas Day and then you come back late Christmas night, you're fine.
Right.
If you leave Friday morning, you're fine. As long as you're, not more than 2 to 3 hours away in any direction, you're fine if you head home Friday morning.
Okay.
But it's Friday afternoon where we're going to start to see that snow move in from west to east. Across central PA. So we're going to start to snow, and then we're going to quickly change over to sleet. Roads are going to turn bad at that point, but they're really going to get bad when we start to get that ice, the freezing rain as we go through Friday evening into Saturday, into Friday night. So I would not recommend traveling mid to late afternoon Friday, and I certainly wouldn't recommend traveling Friday evening.
Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about kind of the impact that this has on, the people who are watching us right now and are wondering what their weekend plans are supposed to look like, friends and family coming in, wanting to see central Pennsylvania and, this major event happening. So what I know, obviously you talk about travel, but could anything kind of be put on hold because of this weather?
I mean, I certainly there. So actually, let's go to the impact graphic. This is the third one. Actually
Yeah.
shows you the bottom line of what we're going to get. So I have much of central PA in that coating to 2 inches of ice, or no, coating to 2 inches of snow, sleet. And
Okay.
then on top of that, we're looking at around 1/1500ths of an inch of ice. Once you get towards 2/10 of an inch of ice to a quarter of an inch, that's when
Yeah.
you start getting into power outages. That's when, you know, a quarter inch of ice is a lot of weight on trees, on power
Sure.
lines. So that's when you start to get into the potential for power outages. Can you see them with 1/1500ths of an inch of ice? Yeah, but they're not as widespread. So I do think we could see a few power outages here and there at this point. I'm not expecting it to be widespread. I'm not talking this to be a massive
Yeah.
power outage type ice storm, but I do think we could see a few areas get into that. I definitely think whatever events we have going on Saturday morning could be postponed or delayed, because we're still going to have pretty icy conditions Saturday morning as well. But certainly Friday evening, anything going on Friday evening, events of that nature certainly could be canceled. I mean, I don't recommend being on the road at all
Yeah.
Friday evening.
Okay. Let's talk about.
And actually, when you look at the map
Yeah.
there, this is going to be more of an all snow event as you get towards eastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia, 2 to 4
Really,
inches
yeah.
of snow. Once you start getting up towards Allentown and Easton, once you get to Easton, Pennsylvania, I'm talking about 4, maybe even 8 inches of snow. And then north of
Yeah.
there, as you get towards, Bangor, Broadheadsville, those spots, Scranton, we could be looking at, again, 6 to 8 inches of snow on
Okay.
Friday. So definitely snowier the further east you go.
Well, if you want to go skiing, those are some places to go,
Yeah.
I guess. Right?
Yeah, there's
Travel
an
now,
early
though.
start to the ski season
Yeah.
for everyone. It's been so cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great to watch all of that. I know friends and family have started to hit the slopes already. So
Yeah, and that's a
been
good
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. It's just there's no real good thing about ice. You know, it looks
Right.
nice on the trees, it glistens, but it just creates so many travel headaches.
Yeah, yeah. And before I ask one more question, kind of getting into maybe some of the specifics here, but what are ways that people at home can kind of keep themselves safe, besides obviously, right, like trying to stay off the road? What can people do to really protect themselves and their home?
Well, great question. So when you get into a situation, when you're talking about ice,
Yeah.
and the potential for power outages in this type of scenario is a little bit higher, because we're seeing, you know, the accumulation on trees and power lines. Always good to have your mobile devices charged. Have your laptops charged, because you can
Especially in
obviously,
this day and age.
yeah, and you can, connect your laptop to your hotspot on your phone. So if you need internet, and you need, you obviously, everyone needs their phone now for almost everything. So when you head into an event like this, where there's a higher potential for power outages, kind of like the wind event that we saw,
Yeah.
last Friday, last week,
Right.
always good
Yeah,
to
that
have
was
your
strong.
mobile devices charged. And this is not going to be a thing where you're out of power for days, but a few hours can be a serious inconvenience if you're caught off guard. So I would definitely recommend making sure that your mobile devices are charged, and anything else that you use that has power and needs to be charged, make sure that those items are ready to go before this thing causes problems.
And I'm sure too, PennDOT will be on high alert.
Yeah.
I'm sure many, electric companies will also be on high alert. So, we'll be tracking all of that throughout this weekend. I'll be here the rest of the weekend, giving you all kind of the latest. And of course, Ed too will be talking about the specifics here, what to look out for. Ed, before we end this stream here,
Sure.
I do want to ask you about kind of the temperatures here, right? So, what is it going to look like for the people who are going to be, going through the light show or whatever it might be, maybe walking around, getting some food with family? What is the temperature? What is that going to feel like?
So Christmas Day tomorrow looks good, mid 40s, might see a couple showers in the morning. But again, there's Friday afternoon, you're seeing that mix of snow and sleet. I mean, temperatures are in the 20s. So during most of this event, temperatures are going to be pretty cold. Uh, and I think the most interesting part is that Friday evening, when we turn over to freezing rain, we're essentially going to be raining when it's 20, 25, 26 degrees outside. That's normally around here, we're closer to the freezing mark if we have freezing rain. This is a freezing rain event where we are going to be in the 20s. That doesn't happen too often around here. We have a lot of cold air, and the recipe is just right to see the rain freeze on contact pretty rapidly. The temperatures are going to be well below freezing as it falls. So that is going to be, the sidewalks are going to be slippery, stuff like that. So
but then does it get warmer? So then it melts quicker?
Really, we will climb above freezing Saturday afternoon, and that'll help clear some of the roads. But this is going to turn into kind of a hard slush. That's harder to move. That's harder for road crews to get rid of. Certainly Sunday will be in the 40s, and I think we'll see a chance for showers. That should really help improve things. I think we'll see significant improvement Saturday afternoon, but it's going to be a slow process through Saturday morning. But certainly all Friday evening into the overnight into Saturday morning is not looking good.
Okay. All right. Well, as we said before, all of you at home, at least you can, wait until you have to really, be careful and stay at home. Like, you've got some time for that. So do all the things now, spend time with family, whatever. And then, Friday afternoon, just be super, super careful. Try to stay off the roads if possible.
Yeah, just make a list of, if you really have to be out and about. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, if you have a thing you must do Friday afternoon.
Well, right.
Just be mindful. I mean, I know there's people that can't just cancel or can't just, not move forward with certain plans depending on what's going on in their lives. But just allow extra time if you must go. But certainly if you can, just try not to travel if you can Friday evening, because that's definitely when I think it's going to be worst.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Ed. I really appreciate it. I know many of us at home appreciate the heads up too. Everybody, I hope that you're enjoying your Christmas Eve, enjoying some nice eggnog, hot chocolate, time with family. All of us at CBS 21 wish you a happy, healthy, and safe holiday. We appreciate you joining us for the CBS 21 Next, and we will see you on air. We'll be live 10 and 11 o'clock. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks.